Welcome back to Kryptolytix, giving you a fresh take on crypto analytics. And this is your crypto recap, where I cover some of the things that are going on in the crypto space. So let's jump into it. So let's get into the Solana ecosystem update. We had Pantera Capital raising funds to buy a very large Solana holding from the FTX estate, which is one of the potential reasons why we saw recent price appreciation in Solana, because one of the concerns and the overhangs and headwinds for Solana is that we have the FTX estate that holds a very large amount. And what do they want to do? They want to sell to pay back creditors, right? Whereas Pantera Capital, for example, are more likely to hold it for a longer period of time. So a little more detail on this is that, yes, they are raising funds to acquire FTX discounted Solana tokens. So the FTX estate owns 41.1 million in SOL, which should be distributed to FTX creditors. Unfortunately, we're not getting, and I say we because yes, I'm one of them, getting our Solana back. What we're getting is a snapshot. And this is theft, if you ask me. I mean, there was an addendum going around that someone posted from their lawyers to essentially state that FTX is essentially stealing from people. It's very common though when you have the collapse of a exchange or something, that essentially what happens is you get back pennies on the dollar. So I've actually got a portfolio in my portfolio tracker on CoinMarketCap that is all of my FTX holdings, and it's gone up a lot compared to when the dump happened. And a very small example of that is that my SOL is up about 600% from when FTX collapsed, and it wasn't a small amount either. Solana's price is about 140 right now, and FTX is selling it to Pantera for about $60 a coin, which is an absolute bargain. So that's a 57% discount to investors rather than customers. I mean, how classic is that? And that's still above what the price was back then, right? It's still above. So, you know, the creditors are basically getting shafted here, but then investors are getting something out of it. So that's just the system, right? It doesn't exactly inspire confidence, let's be honest. So a little more detail, we have, according to marketing materials from February sent to the prospective investors and seen by Bloomberg, in return for options of buying SOL at 39% below a 30-day average price or $60, investors must agree to a vesting period as long as 4 years. So, okay, they are buying it at a discount, right? And it's like, why aren't we getting it? But whatever, let's put that aside. The vesting period is 4 years. So if they go ahead with this, so if FTX means nothing to you, then that's great. Like, good for you. I'm happy for you that you didn't go through what me and many other FTX users went through. But the positive thing here is that this Solana, which is a lot, as I said, $41 million of SOL is being locked up for 4 years. 4 years, which means they won't even be able to sell it this cycle, right? So that's all of that selling pressure completely taken away as a headwind, which that's been the biggest thing that's been suppressing SOL's prices. A lot of people are like FTX will just start selling it. You know, we'll put in a new all-time high and we'll just get these massive dumps. I mean, we will anyway, I'm sure, as other people take profit from the lows, but this is actually really positive overall as a whole, right? So this is the FTX stuff aside, purely from price appreciation and from Solana's perspective, this is really positive for price, because this will stop or prevent large amounts of Solana from being just dumped on the market, essentially, because 41 million is the equivalent to roughly 10% of the total supply. 10%. So that's a lot. And that's been one of the biggest headwinds. I mean, the Solana's still gone up anyway, but 10%, locking that up for 4 years, that's very good. That's a very good sign. And we got to remember that, I guess, FTX, because of SBF and all of his crazy stuff that he was doing, essentially, which is just what the Fed and what banks do anyway, which is smart fractional reserve banking, where they collateralize assets that depositors put in their banks and 10x them and lend them out and do all sorts of stuff. That's essentially what Sam was doing. So on the actual books, FTX, it has a massive black hole. So with the recent appreciation in assets value held by the FTX estate and the fact that they're giving a snapshot instead of giving back people their assets, good news for Solana holders, and not the best for FTX creditors, but the silver lining, of course. In more news, we have 10-time Grammy nominee Eric Church is going to airdrop over 100,000 Solana-based digital collectibles to his biggest fans. So again, moves like this are what brings normies, or just, you know, normal people, I suppose, that aren't really that crypto savvy or crypto native, into the Solana ecosystem. Now, I believe that Solana is fast establishing itself to be the retail chain. So again, the chain that most retail go to, because it's fast, it's cheap, and it's home to some of the biggest memes to cycle, right? And some of the biggest NFT collections. So this is just more Solana adoption, and this is going to bring more people in. And again, a lot of these chains, their dream is to pull in 1 billion users or something like that. So this is just more potential onboarding to create more people who are crypto native. But remember, 4 in 100 currently hold crypto, generally speaking. So it's going to be one hell of a mission, no doubt about that. Now, I want to paraphrase Ben Cowan, and let's talk about the Sol dominance. So to me, I look at the Sol dominance chart, and I'm always curious about it because this is sort of the percentage that Solana takes up in the total market cap for crypto. And we've been in a bit of a range for a while now. We actually hit a top, an all-time high of 3.26% back in December, and it's kind of been going sideways and down since then. But let's look at the structure, right? I see short-term bullish structure here. So we have a higher low right here to here. So here we had lower, and to here we had sort of a range top. But in the short term, we have a higher low and a bounce off a key level, although it didn't quite get down there to the band, but we saw in the past that definitely acted as support. So we have this very strong bullish candle bounce right off here. And if we have a look at ETH versus Sol and Bitcoin versus Sol, we can see it bounce up there too. But Solana dominance, it's on the up. There's no doubt about that. We've broken structure here. So here we've closed higher on the day to this structure here. So there you go, some short-term bullish structure. Overall though, we're in a big range, but here's some short-term bullish structure. And further to what I was saying before, we have Bitcoin Sol bouncing off the trend line. So again, this is the bull market support band. In the past, it's acted as resistance. So when it was stuck below it, it was resistance, 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 resistance. I shouldn't keep saying that word because it sounds ridiculous now. Because anyway, there's more resistance, right? There it is again. And then we got out above it, entered a range for a period, and then we've acted as support here, and then this is it. So if this is anything to go by, this is the Bitcoin Solana chart. This is a good spot for us to bounce. Now I covered that in the previous videos, but I think it's still true. Ethereum to Solana, again, we can look at it. It's exactly the same story. Resistance, small little fake out here, but it couldn't close above it. Ground sideways, down, resistance, down, resistance, down, 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 down. Then we broke out above it, held above it for a long period of time, for a lengthened period of time, a few weeks, held a support, then we shot off. So where we are now, we bounced off it there, right? And we're bouncing off it again. So here we go. This is why I'm talking about the Solana dominance. Things are winding up for some potentially very bullish price action on Solana. If we're comparing Solana to Ethereum, let's have a look. So here we had a breakout above here. Solana actually never came back up to this structure here to retest. It got pretty aggressively smacked down due to, as we all know, we just spoke about it at FTX. But anyway, very similar structure here, right? Very similar structure. We have a breakout above. It's underside resistance. Again, this is an underside resistance. And then we've held that as support. Again, held that as support. Vertical expansion, boom. Look at that. What does this look like here, right? So this could be the start of our expansion. Now we've got more tops to contend with. So for example, ETH's top to contend with was about $800 here. And that was the start of 2021. And Solana's literally at its top to contend with right now. Actually, it's gone up a little bit above that. So, and the next top to contend with is about $240. But remember, due to token inflation, the new all-time high to beat for Solana is $170. If you factor in about a 15% roughly increase in supply due to staking rewards, token unlocks for VCs and stuff like that, and we take off that from the old all-time high, 170 is the price to beat to get above in terms of market cap based on the circulating supply. 170 is where we need to beat, and 174 is actually the next structure resistance. But anyway, this looks crazy, and there's a bit of a hopium there for Solana holders. And in this post here, I was just posting an update on my trade for Drift. Now that went up to about 130% last night, probably come down a little bit, I would say, but Solana hit 150 last night. So again, I covered in a few videos ago where I opened my long and why. And unfortunately, my whole position wasn't filled because Drift is too illiquid. So I had a perfect order in the wick, but it didn't fill. But I got most of it in anyway. So I'm in a long here, and it looks like we are cooking. So keeping pace with Bitcoin as well, which is I just showed on the Bitcoin Solana chart before, as many are stalling at these price levels at the moment, but we're definitely getting some decent bounces in other coins as well. And it's up about 127%. Anyway, whatever, you can see right here, my average entry is about 108 and the mark price is 146. So anyway, there's the proof, I suppose, if you really needed to see it. Also, I posted about Jupiter a few days ago. This is on March 4th. So this is 4 days ago. And this was my 2-second TA for Jupiter. Again, as I said, we got to break out of this trend line here, which we did. We did not hold it. We went down to new lows of 444. It's a lot of fours. And then we eventually broke out above, held, and then so that's your first tick. We're good to go. That we're good to start potentially moving up. And then again, as I said, hold above this level. So this is the structure to hold above. It was here, and then it became here. So we could see 2 rejections, hold above this level, and then it's rocket boosters, right? As long as we hold above this level for several days, then that's definitely a good sign. Again, this was on the 4th. And then I said, breaking, another stablecoin loses its peg. What do I mean by that? I mean, how long was Jupiter stuck at 50 cents? It became a meme at one point, right? And I was just like, yep, essentially Jupiter's a new stablecoin. It's pegged to 50 cents. And it lost its peg. What is that? That's it holding above that level, right? And as we evolve, this was on the 7th of March, which was only yesterday. So again, my 2-second TA for Jup was back. We'd have to hold above this level. We have finally made some progress. So we started breaking the structure, and this is the high to contend with, which was 74 cents. So again, this was a very good sign. And where is Jupiter now? Well, it hit 77 cents. So how cool is that? So this is the pith chart. You can actually look at this on TradingView as well, not just Bird Eye. I use the pith chart personally. And on the pith chart, it's broken its all-time high, but the all-time high, as you saw on Bird Eye, was about 74 cents. So it's currently sitting above it. So look at it go. I personally have about 20,000 dupes. So, I mean, of course, I'm super bullish on it. And I've got half of my dupe. Again, like, I'm just going to let you all front run me essentially, but half, not all, half of my dupe I've got staggered in limit orders to sell at $1, $1.10, and $1.20. So, or maybe actually move them a little bit below that, but that's all sitting in Jupiter. Not going to tell you my exact orders because then you just front run me. That's fine. I mean, whatever. I've got conviction on Jupiter. They're doing some great things. And again, they are one of my highest conviction bets in the Solana ecosystem, just because when I think Solana, I think Jupiter is the first thing. Just like when I think Ethereum, I think Uniswap. When I think Binance Smart Chain, I think PancakeSwap. This is the place to go, and they're doing some amazing things. We've got incentives to lock up, and maybe, we don't know yet, but maybe dupe stakers will be eligible for some airdrops in the future on protocols that launch on Jupiter. So we've got Clone, as I mentioned in the last video, and a bunch of others, all looking to launch on the Jupiter launchpad. The other thing to consider as well for Jup is it's pretty much the only protocol that has built-in mechanisms to start to essentially scaling out of positions. So, I mean, like, you know, if you have, for example, a DCA strategy where you DCA out in the bull market and you average out instead of averaging in to a DCA, it's got it built in. The only protocol that does it. And, you know, for example, we come over here to Colin Talk Crypto, where this is his selling plan, right? It's like, he calls it reverse DCA, but it's literally still dollar cost averaging, I guess you could say. But at least with Colin, he's going to sell 2% of his Bitcoin every week starting in April, and 4% of his altcoins starting in May. And alts have selective pumps, delayed pumps compared to DCA. And he's going to hold 50% of his Bitcoin no matter what, and he's going to sell all of his altcoins. Well, I mean, Jupiter is a place where he could do that if he really wanted to, and just have it automatically set up. So, I mean, that's the sort of thing that Jupiter offers, right? That other protocols do not. So anyway, another thing that I did was I covered WEN in a couple of videos ago and what my plan for it was. So I've got this strategy set up essentially. And the way I executed this was when I got a sell signal, I sold all of my WEN holdings except for my airdrops. And then I turned on DCA that every single hour, over 100 orders, it would buy all of the profit that I had from my WEN, which again was like a decent amount. And it DCA'd back in, averaged, and gave me a little bit more. And then it pretty much broke back out at the same price that I sold it. So I got a little bit more WEN back, which was really nice. And then we've sort of gone up since then a little bit, but it hasn't gone up crazy amount. It went up an additional like 55%. And then it's sort of coming back down with all the other memes as well. Well, PEPE is starting to go off. I don't know what's causing that. Asia market, the Koreans. It's the Koreans, I swear. And Dog WIF hat, which I covered in the last video, which I said I sold half of my WIF. Again, only half of it. Around, if you go back and check the video, it was about $1.70 thereabouts. I think it was $1.77 or something like that. You can see it definitely went up a little bit after that, another 44%, but it's come back down to where I took profit on it. Will I buy back more WIF? Yeah. I mean, if we get a decent correction or something like that, I mean, I haven't bought it back according to this strategy, but yeah, I mean, of course I'd buy it back. If we sort of did a bleed from here, created some sort of bottoming structure, as long as we feel like we've got more fuel left in the tank for more bullish upside on the rest of the crypto market, then yeah, of course I'll buy back some of it. But that's just my strategy for memes. Again, as I said, QT meme trading strategies, right? It's not just up only, in my opinion. So that's why I'm treating meme coins like a trade these days, rather than just like a buy and hold to nothing. Also, some of my meme coins I buy and then I have 2,000% profit targets. So I've got one called PEPE Sol, for example, which came out 3 months before the other PEPE. So the main PEPE that everyone knows, that everyone talks about, is the one on ETH. Wasn't the first. First one was on Solana. And PEPE Sol, I had a 2,000% profit target on, and that was just random USDC that minted into my wallet a few days ago. I was like, where did this money come from? And I looked in my Jupiter, got my limit orders, and surely enough, that one hit. I didn't put that much money into it, but that was at the start of 2023. So I mean, that was pretty nice. And those stables just went into FlexLend to rotate around and create more points for Kamino, MarginFi, wherever the capital is deployed to, essentially, to farm more points. We always just, I guess, want to farm more points for the airdrops. But yes, WEN did hit an all-time high after I did that video. So, I mean, that's pretty cool, as I showed on the chart just before. And as soon as that was posted, people were taking profit. So anyway, it did look a lot nicer before it started the profit-taking structure on the chart. But anyway, WEN hit an all-time high. Pretty cool. So this is GUAC's post, and I mentioned GUAC, a little bit ago in the video, but one interesting thing that they're doing is gift cards. So hundreds of gift cards you can buy with USDC, GUAC, Bonk, WEN, WIF, Miro, and more. So you can buy all these gift cards with your meme coins. So rather than selling to a centralized exchange or something like, or taking profit, sending to a centralized exchange, you just buy gift cards. I don't know what kind of KYC will be necessary for this, but if you don't need it, I mean, Uber Eats, there you go. You can get an Uber Eats, Uber gift card, and then be part of that meme of meme holders will eat well, I guess, if they don't have to worry about all of the baggage behind selling on centralized exchanges. Anyway, more information to come out on that soon, but I thought that was pretty cool. So CoinMarketCap have a Meme Coin of the Year award, and where did it go to? Drumroll, bonk. I mean, you can see it on the screen, so congratulations to the team behind this passionate community. And this was the CMC Crypto Awards 2024. And as I said, Bonk takes the crown. Some say it single-handedly revived the Solana ecosystem in bleak times, and I think that really is true. So I didn't actually get an airdrop, but it did make a huge imprint in my portfolio with only $600. And I covered this in videos from last year. So, I mean, if you really want to go back and dig, you can go and see where I was talking about buying this thing. And it went up about 5,000%, which is just insane. And I hope that, some of you were on the ride for that. This was the trade, by the way, if you really want to see it. So the entry was there. Essentially, when I said on my video that I'm buying Bonk here, and I ended up selling it at about 5,000%. I mean, obviously it went up more than that, like 12,000%, but I sold it at 5,000% profit. This is the reason why I've implemented this DCA strategy as well. So to take the profit that I got from some of these memes, at least high conviction memes anyway, and deploy it back into the meme, is because if you look at my my exit to entry, it was the same. So I literally sold it and then bought it back at the same price. So you can see there on the screen, I lost 20 cents in that trade. So there you go. I like to wait for confirmation though, because what if it just bled down like it did last time? What if it did this? I mean, look, what if it just did that, right? So that's the reason why I wanted to sell and wait for confirmation to get back in. But some people were just buying this thing the whole time, every day DCAing. But I mean, this is what I got from $600. So, I mean, I don't have any problem from taking profit, right? It's not profit until you take it. But yeah, I did buy back here, not with the whole amount. Obviously, I actually banked some of this, and that's like money that I'm using for other things, but just the initial $600 went back in, and that's currently up about 83%, as you can see here. So, I mean, it's still doing all right, but it won't be anywhere near as much as what that trade was. But anyway, good old Bonk made waves, that's for sure, in the last year. There's no doubt about it. So more airdrop updates on Solana ecosystem. Again, we have the Drift Protocol, Parcel, Zeta Markets, IronNet Official, and Kamino. So I am eligible for Drift, Parcel, not Zeta or IronNet, and Kamino. So, there's some others as well, which have leaderboards, which I've mentioned in the past, which I'm not seeing any news on. I mean, Flash Trade is definitely one to look at in the future, but I mean, there's no confirmation on airdrops on this just yet. But again, there's still more that we could get after this. So AI compute as a currency, powered by IO, Internet of GPUs, built on Solana. That's cool. So another airdrop, right? I don't know if the snapshot's been taken for this though, but another DePIN play, which is really cool. So let's look a little bit more into IONET, right? A post from a couple of days ago. So as you can see, it's an AI DePIN project that, we probably should pay attention to, and we'll be launching on Solana soon. Airdrop coming. Some TLDRs on, what these sort of things do. So it's equivalent to a decentralized AWS or Amazon Web Server, for example, for GPUs for training and instant permissionless access to a global network of GPUs and CPUs 25,000 nodes, revolutionary tech allowing cloud clustering of GPUs together, and can save AI startups 90% on compute costs. So DePIN really is the solid use case for crypto and blockchain for AI, because that's been always the thing with, in terms of working the AI narrative into crypto, the question's kind of been, where is crypto relevant to the AI space? And I think stuff like this is where it's at, is, you know, sharing graphics and CPU power to these AI companies, essentially, because they need graphics cards in order to function. And if all you care about is when airdrop, or how airdrop, or why airdrop, then there are two main ways to qualify for the airdrop. They have a Galaxy campaign running called Ignition. You simply need to complete the tasks. It require you to prove you are a human by minting a Galaxy passport, which is good because this can't be sibbled. Supply your GPU or CPU to IONet. Simply follow the instructions as stated in the docs. It can be done in about 10 to 15 minutes. It's quite simple, even if you are non-technical. And that's your offer. So there you go. All you have to do is click on here, join the Galaxy campaign. And yes, this is okay because this post that I'm showing you now was officially reshared on their website. So you don't have to worry about this being a scam page or something like that from some random. This was actually officially shared by the page. So this is okay. So I'll probably do this. I've got an old Alienware laptop here that I don't really use very much anymore. So I'll probably just leave this thing on to farm some GPU and CPU and get some points. So you just get points from at least setting it all up. And then you get additional points from doing all of these various tasks. So if you want to be qualified for the airdrop, there you go. Get to work if you want to, that is. Continuing on, we have Kamino Points Season 1 snapshot will be taken on the 31st of March. So we only have till the end of the month for the first snapshot, and will culminate in the Genesis distribution of KMNO in April. So the Genesis is an important step in establishing decentralized governance of Kamino finance. This is an official thread by them. So here we go. We got some details. So the initial distribution details, ticker will be KMNO. Total supply will be 10 billion tokens. Estimated day one circulating supply will be 10%. So that will be most likely the airdrop will be the supply. Initial community distribution 7%. So 7%, is the airdrop most likely. And then the other 3% is liquidity for trading. Distribution linear based on Kamino points. So again, it's all based on your Kamino points, which if you go back to my previous crypto recap, you can find a few tools to track your points if you're on many different wallets. And the snapshot will be taken on March 31st, and token generation event, so the launch, will be in April. And remember, even if you do not qualify in season 1, which I mean, we're originally in season 1 now, so you got plenty of time. But if you don't qualify, there will be season 2, which will begin in April, and will continue to reward the protocol participation. Season 2 will emphasize loyalty and sustained usage of Kamino products, and a large portion of Kamino will be allocated to additional point seasons and reward campaigns in the future. So I touched on this in my last video about the Basket airdrop. Now, here's a bit more details on Basket. So again, it's just an airdrop now that's slowly vesting, but what is it? Like, you know, is it something that's worth holding on, or should we just cheat it? Well, here's some information on Basket. Let's go into some of the details on what it is. So it's a treasury or a basket of assets. And you see what an index fund is, for example, in TradFi, is like the S&P 500 is the top 500 companies in the US, or the Russell, got all these different indexes, right? NASDAQ, all that sort of stuff. These are all indexes. So this is kind of like a basket, right? So it's a basket, a treasury of various assets. And what do we have so far? I mean, it's a mixed bag of degens and not so degens. So in Basket at the moment in the treasury, this is what they're building. So it has exposure to Sol, USDC. So I'm guessing that's to help stabilize overall. Wrapped ETH, Wrapped Bitcoin, Stan. Don't know what that is. Chains, don't know that. Bonk, yes. Chunky, yes. Fat Cat, WIF. Gecko, I actually really like Gecko, even though it's been down only. Mobile is a reward token, I believe, for Helium. Jitto, Jitto is the Jitto Stake Sol governance token. Pith, good old Pith, you'll know what that is. MNDE, which is the Marinade token, which is the governance token for Marinade Stake Sol. Again, another liquid stake derivative of Solana akin to JTO. And of course, BSKT, so that's their own token, is in that basket. So yes, they have the token launch. They somehow got banned on Telegram. I don't know how that happened. They've got a multi-sig set up through Squads protocol. You can see it in CoinGecko. They got vesting all set up, 12-month vesting. of 33% of the supply to investors. We got liquidity pools set up on Meteora and Radium and Orca. Dupe OTC deals completed. That's 150k secured. That's pretty cool. They'll give more of a breakdown on what they add to their basket, of course. Also, they're looking to establish another chains, maybe Aptos, Sui, and some others, so that's pretty cool. I don't know how, I've never seen this Hawksite Co portfolio before, but I'll look into that. They've got a website, so you can go check it out. So there you go. There's some bridging. So it looks like you can actually bridge, and it uses Wormhole, which is pretty cool. So Judo, BNB, AVAX, Matic, Sui, all added to the basket. And this is additional information, I guess, on top of what I was just reading there. So this is reflecting on week 3. So again, these are all the different weeks. So I've actually skipped week 2 completely. Anyway, you can go into more details. They've actually added Arbitrum. Wow, supported chains and 7 bridges. That's pretty cool. So this is going to be kind of spreading everywhere. So, you know, we're definitely going to be seeing this pop up on multiple chains. So bot testing for portfolio management. I mean, that's pretty cool. Honestly, like this is like a really, really cool like basket essentially, like or index fund for crypto. So, I mean, having exposure to this token, hey, maybe I'll buy more of it. You know, this is many, many different assets all bundled together. We're going to see it crossed over multiple blockchains. I mean, they're using Wormhole, right? You already see it's available on other chains, and they're just going to keep adding to their portfolio. So it's definitely one to watch. Go over and give them a follow, and maybe you've already got some through the airdrop. So I don't know, this could be really cool. This could be really cool for a decentralized index fund essentially. So I don't know, up to you what you do, but I don't know, I'm definitely going to be watching these guys. Okay, let's speed through the rest of it. So we've got the Injective Ecosystem finally launching their inEVM. And so this is the fastest layer 1 blockchain. Yeah, Injective is really fast. I mean, I use it relatively frequently, and I'm going to be honest, like it's definitely one of the fastest, cheapest chains that I've ever used. I really like it personally. And I mean, I still love Sol, don't get me wrong, but you know, Injective's never gone down. It's super fast. I'm super bullish on it. Overall, I've done many videos on it. You can check out my Injective deep dives. There's a link above the one if you want to check that out, if you want to see what it's all about in the ecosystem. And I cover it in nearly every one of these videos because I just think that it's worth keeping up to date with. If you're a Solana developer or a EVM developer, so Solidity or Rust, you can literally build contracts on Injective. I mean, how cool is that? So inEVM, more details, you can go and watch the video on this essentially, but we do have new EVM on Solana, but I've had a developer, Solidity developer, have a look at that. And there's some base level functionality that's been omitted, which is potentially problematic for some applications. So Neon EVM's cool, definitely is cool, but unfortunately it's not a proper fix for anyone coming from Solidity to build on Solana. Well, this is officially by the Injective team in EVM. So building Solidity dApps and EVM dApps on Injective. I mean, that's so cool. So you've got exposure to liquidity on the Cosmos ecosystem. There's partnerships developing between Solana, you know, through Phantom and Injective. And now you've got this EVM compatibility on Injective. I mean, come on, how can you not be bullish about this chain? It's insane. I mean, maybe I sound too bullish, so just like bring it down a little bit. But anyway, in EVM, there's more information on it you can go and see, and you can catch up with that on their official X page. But I just thought I would bring some attention to this because it's a big deal. And some more bullish news for Celestia. This, for data availability, has integrations with Celestia. So again, here we go. Some even more sort of partnerships, if you will. But inEVM is live on mainnet, and they'll incorporate Injective to launch the first ever EVM composability across Cosmos and Solana with Celestia underneath. There you go. So that's your data availability layer. So this is just showing that Injective is a monolithic chain, but with additional modular chain functionality. So it comes into the modular chain thesis, it comes into the monolithic chain thesis. I mean, come on, Injective, bullish, super bullish. Quickly run over this. So this is Caldera, which is a modular blockchain platform. Deploy a roll app in one click. So this is a post from Caldera anyway. So that's what they're using, right? That's basically what they're using to create their system. And it's a roll-up structure for EVM, leveraging the technology of Injective, which basically smashes just about any other L2 out there, let's be honest. I mean, I've used them all, so I'm coming from a place of experience. And they actually integrate with Celestia for modular data availability, Layer 0 for interoperability, and Hyperlane. And Eric, who's one of the co-founders of Injective, said Caldera has built a robust infrastructure stack for rapidly deploying state-of-the-art rollups. The tooling and support provided by Caldera is second to none, and we could not have asked for a better rollup infrastructure provided. So these guys are deep in the whole EVM functionality, essentially. So if this interests you, then go follow Caldera because they're a big part of this, right? So I guess, what does that mean? Injective has become an ETH layer 2, but it's so much better than that. So anyway, moving on, we have the Hydro Finance or HDRO token, which will be launching on the Mito launchpad shortly. There was some speculation that maybe it would be on Dojo, but they're going for the Mito route, which makes sense because Dojo Swap has their own liquid stake derivative of Injective. So it makes more sense for it to be Mito, let's be honest. I mean, I know that if it would make sense for them to launch on Dojo anyway, because they're kind of a competitor. But I mean, I don't know. It's nice to think about this stuff in collaborative space, but I mean, realistically, it made more sense for them to go into Mito for their launch, just like Quants did. Except the great thing about this is you do not need an NFT to participate. So here's the information on it. It's happening very soon. So if you want to be a part of this, participation begins very soon. And when I say very soon, I mean now, because it's March 7, 3 p.m. UTC. So let's go into the details on this. I went into the docs and summarized it. You need to stake at least 10 INJ to participate. That's TLDR. So in order to qualify for the Mito Launchpad, you must have staked INJ tokens. The minimum of INJ tokens required to be staked is 10. However, the maximum subscription amount is 500. If you meet the requirements, you can subscribe to the HDRO pool using INJ during the subscription period, which begins on 7th of March 2024 and ends on the 14th. So we only have a few days to do this. If the project reaches its fundraising targets, users will be able to claim their HDRO LP tokens after sale closes. LP tokens can be redeemed for the underlying assets, HDR and INJ, or they can be kept in HDR INJ as a liquidity pool token to earn yield. So there you go. And remember, potential airdrop for this one too, to go into in just a second. Now, one thing to consider here is you've got your Injective staked right now. Like for me, for example, I've got 18 here and I've got a bunch locked up elsewhere as well in liquidity pools and Dojo and stuff. So you need an equal amount of liquid Injective as well as illiquid Injective. So if you've done what I've done and staked most of your Injective, well, the unstaked time is, I think, like 20 days or something like that. So there won't be enough time to unstake in time. But if you've got some that's in liquidity pools and stuff like that, then you can just unbond that. Like for example, I had stuff in Dojo, which I pulled out, which was the DINJ pool. And briefly, while this is taking place, we can pull that out. And at least for me, I will get 220 worth of this. So why not? And so I'm just gonna, get a small amount. It's not a huge amount, obviously, but it's something, right? So I'm currently subscribed to this. You can do it now too if you really want to. And so you'll need an equal amount of staked Injective and liquid Injective if you really want to participate in this to the full extent. But in my case, I've only got 5 liquid and the rest is staked. So it is what it is, huh? And some ways you can get more is through airdrops, right? So they decided to more than double the airdrop allocation for those involved in HydroFi and Injective ecosystems. Many videos ago, a few months back, I did a initial video on the Injective ecosystem. And in that, I covered how to use the testnet for the Hydro protocol. So if you followed along with that, then you might be eligible for this. And I'm pretty sure that I will be, but we'll have to see. But claims will be made in a week after TGE, and the claim period will last 7 days. So we'll have to see. Maybe we qualify, maybe we don't. I don't know if I put enough volume through it or what the deal was that. But anyway, we'll find out soon enough, surely, right? So they're boosting their allocation to the airdrop, which is really cool. And they reached their, remember I mentioned it just before, I was like, they've got their minimum allocation. Well, they already met it. So the goal was 4.5 million. They met it in 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Bullish. That's pretty bullish. So, I mean, if you want more of this, then I guess you could buy more Injective, which I might actually end up doing because you can modify your subscription later. But there's a lot of interest in this, to be honest. And I did mention in my last Injective video that there was a pretty crazy depeg on HINJ, which is the Hydro Protocol Injective, but I'm guessing that's probably going to regain its peg at some point because it was under. And I was talking about a potential arbitrage opportunity, but by the time I recorded that video, that arbitrage opportunity was gone. And that was between DINJ and HINJ, which is Dojo's Injective Liquid Stake Derivative Token, and the one from Hydro Protocol. But I think that's enough on that. Now let's go into Dojo just quickly. I did post on my X. I said that this structure here is looking like it's forming a bottom for Dojo Swap, and that's on CoinHall. Again, you can have a look at that. But I was saying in my video that we did get an extended sell-off period for the Dojo token after Baby Dojo snapshot was taken. And I said in that video, I was like, let's look for and wait for some stabilizing price action before we start to buy Dojo again, if you want to buy it. And then yesterday I posted that it looks like we are stabilizing. Let's get confirmation on that, shall we? That was 88 cents. And look, we've gone up a little bit since then, 13%. So not bad at all. Typical baseline structure, right? Where we kind of trend sideways, new lows aren't held, and it snaps back into range. Very typical baseline structure for stuff like this. And we are slowly grinding back up. So anyway, Dojo's on the up again. We'll have to see. It's not like it's taken out its highs. I think the next point to contend with would be this structure here. Look at that purple box. Just leave it purple. This is the sort of bearish structure to break above. We just get a rejection here and fold back over around, then I mean that doesn't look too good. But if we get a breakout above here, hold as support, then I mean it's off to the races, and then we go up from there essentially, I guess. If you go simply based on structure, if we look at say like basic trend lines, we got a breakout of the trend line here, held as support, off we go. Bullish confirmation is above here. So Dojo swaps back as a potentially good buy, but again, NFA on that one. More information on Baby Dojo while we're at it is the token allocation is 98% to the community. So there you go. This is definitely not an insider's coins. This is going to all of the Dojo community, essentially. Very much like WEN on Solana. So 0% team allocation. There, that info right there. That's what you need to know that the team is legit building hard. LFG. So there's a full Medium article on Baby Dojo if you really want to read it. But as I mentioned in my last video, Baby Dojo is a reflections token where volume from Baby Dojo, so that's buying, selling, whatever event takes place, mints you more Dojo tokens. Part of the CW404 standard, I believe. Very cool. So even just holding this thing, you get more Dojo from it. So there you go. I think the inflation on the Dojo token would be crazy, to be honest, after all of these incentives. Crazy high rewards for LP providers and even this now. So anyway, kind of another long-term consideration and why Dojo is probably not the best long-term hold, but at least while we're in the bull market, it's all good, at least, hopefully. Another thing is the Dojo supply. 60% of it will be permanently burnt in April. 60% of the Dojo supply will be permanently burnt in April. Wow, that's a lot. So there you go. That's pretty bullish for Dojo as well. Help combat that inflation I just mentioned, right? And to wrap it up, a couple of Cosmos ecosystem airdrops. We have the Saga airdrop. Now, this is what I was mentioning before, where there's almost a plutocracy now with regards to staking things like Celestia. I have 35 Celestia staked. Yeah, sure, it's a crumb amount or whatever. Still an okay amount of money. What is it, like $1,200 or something like that? It's not nothing, but I was ineligible, completely ineligible. And then I asked someone in the chat here that said that they were eligible for both Cosmos and Celestia, and they said they had 300. Okay, so whale drops, that's another term we're starting to see now, where I call it plutocratic airdrops, but whale drops is definitely another word for it, where only whales will be eligible for future airdrops. We're starting to see it. I mean, Saga's doing it. So Atom stakers and Celestia stakers, if you have a heap, if you have a lot, then yeah, you'll get these cool airdrops, but there's a good chance that you won't in the future, as this kind of gets crushed by whales, I guess. There's also AVAX as well. You can come over here and add your wallets. I added my EVM wallet. I added my Celestia wallet. I added all my wallets to it, connected them all up, and I had nothing. Can't complain. But, you know, good on the Celestia holders, to be honest. Can't get them all, but it's nice if you can get at least some of them. And especially after my wormhole allocation, I really have nothing to complain about. Another one is Star airdrop coming. Final reminder, you have only until the 8th of March, which is, well, tomorrow/today, to get the airdrop. So probably not enough time to do this. Maybe there is, maybe you just get across, but it's a Galaxy campaign, like I mentioned before. The other Galaxy campaign for that DePIN project on Solana. Well, these guys have Galaxy campaign as well, so go in here and quickly crunch all this stuff out. If you get time to do it, we've got 10 hours, so only 10 hours at the time of recording this, which I think by the time I render this video and upload it, you might only have a few hours. So this is like, do it now if you want to do this. Otherwise, maybe a token to buy and speculate on later. But anyway, just another one I thought I would mention. Now, I just want to quickly give some perspective on how much of a DeFi degen I actually am. So I've used other chains outside of this list, but these are the chains that I've extensively used DeFi for. So this is why I've come from a place of experience when it comes to DeFi, and why I've been getting so many airdrops and stuff like that, especially on Solana, but just in general, especially with Wormhole and that. So these are the chains that I've extensively used, and I don't mean just a little bit, I mean almost every day, at least when they were relevant, because some of these aren't anymore. Got ETH, and I stopped using that when it became too expensive. BSC, because I realized it was a bit of a scam chain. Sorry, BNB or BSC, whatever, you know, say what you want, come at me, it's fine, I get it. But I've been drained on the Binance Smart Chain. I've had so many scam projects, found so many scam projects. It's just like, I don't know, it's not my cup of tea anymore. It's very centralized, and yeah, anyway, I'm just not the biggest fan of it. But you know, I used it. They were the first ever DeFi applications I used, which was Atlantis Money, which is essentially what was compromised, and which is what drained my Atom. Sad times, right? Because I tried to bridge it over to stake it, and I was like, where did it go? And it was just like black hole, and I'm like, what happened? And apparently the Atlantis Loans protocol was hacked. So happens to us all, but it's what got me into DeFi, and it's what got me into meme coins. So, you know, I don't hate it completely, but you know, I call it scam chain. So SC, Binance scam chain. Anyway, Harmony, unfortunately, they had massive hack and a lot of money from their treasury was stolen. So don't know if they'll come back, but we got Phantom. I use Phantom a lot. They're coming back in a big way, and we're probably gonna get some airdrops over in the Phantom ecosystem. So watch this space. I've got a lot of my Phantom staked at the moment. It's probably, I think it's in the top 10 of my portfolio out of like 70 coins. So it's a big one for me. Osmosis, I mean, that's a classic if you're into Cosmos. Aurora is the EVM chain for Nia. I've still got some LPs in Aurora, so that's still farming away on Vaporwave, I think it was called. I've had stuff in there like I've got Nia in there. That's in a liquidity pool that I've had since 2022 or 21. Wow, long time ago. Avalanche, used that, got really expensive for gas in the bull market. So I don't know. It's coming back though, people talking about it. Polygon, yes, I used Polygon. The main thing I liked on Polygon was ClimateDAO, which was the base carbon token rebase Ponzi, which all of those went to zero, but I liked that a lot. It was really cool, and I used Market XYZ to borrow against it and buy more. Bad idea in a bear market. But anyway, Polygon's still around, and you know, they'll probably make a comeback at some point. Solana, love Solana. Basically after I used all these, finally found Solana. I was like, oh my God, this is the chain. This is the one. And this is why I'm obsessed with it and I love it now. Yes, I used Luna extensively. I used Prism protocol. I used Anchor. I used just about everything you could use over there. Kajira, White Whale. Like, now they're their own chains now, essentially. And you know, I mean, as you can see, I got a token allocation for Wormhole based on my Luna activity. But you know, it was good. It was fast. You know, it felt like a good ecosystem. But unfortunately, the old death spiral. Rose, which is actually Oasis. Rose is just the token for Oasis. I've still got some LPs in Oasis that have farmed away. Probably worthless now, to be honest. Nia is really cool. Mainly all I'm doing on Nia is staking. I was using some of that stablecoin. So they had the equivalent of, it's a USDN equivalent of Anchor Protocol. But I sold all of that and bought Nia with it. So I just went all in on Nia. So I was farming in the bear market some of that USDN. But then as soon as I saw some opportunities to buy, I was like, don't need this anymore. I'm just going to buy Nia. And it's been doing really well in the last few days. Sui, which is Mistin Labs, based on Move, which is the old Facebook blockchain programming language. Yeah, I've used the chain a bit, and like Navi and stuff like that, which I mentioned in the last video. But for the most part, yeah, liquid staking and staking is what I'm doing on Sui, as well as I've got some money in the money markets there. Arbitrum, yep, use Arbitrum. You've seen it in recent videos, so I don't need to go into that. ZK Sync, probably one of my more popular videos is my ZK Sync airdrop farming video, so proof there. Mantle, I've done videos on Mantle as well. Manta, oh, the Mantle airdrop, that was a grind. Absolute grind. Used every single protocol in the ecosystem to try and get some more of that. Say, covered that on recent videos as well. And Injective, I mean, come on. Already gone on about Injective so much in this video. My favorites, Injective and Sol. Without a shadow of a doubt, I love them. Breadth of dApps, features. I love the Injective bots, as in trading bots, speed, cheap, user experience. I mean, yeah, unparalleled in my opinion. So those are my favorites. So that's pretty much that. So that's it for today's video. Hope you liked it. Hope you found it helpful. If you did, then please give the video a like, subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this, hit that bell notification if you want to be alerted when more videos come out from me. Go check me out on X, because that's where you'll find all of this alpha before I even do any videos on it. And I will see you on the next one. This is Kryptolytix signing out. Have a good one.